So if you are catching this on the replay, we are just going to take a couple of minutes for everybody to get the notification that we're live here. I did have to start about 15 minutes late tonight, right when I was getting ready to start our moon circle. We had a big storm here and we just had a whole bunch of hail and the tornado sirens were going off and stuff. So I just wanted to be safe, and also it was way too loud for me to even do a moon circle. So now I'm here, and hopefully you all will be here soon too. And I'm going to go ahead and share this out in a few places just so everybody knows that we're live. So I see the numbers are climbing. So hi, welcome. If you're just signing in, we're just going to take a few minutes here. Thanks for your patience. Had to have a little weather delay here. If you're just signing in, feel free to let me know how you're doing tonight. Feel free to say hi, let us know where you're from, and let us know how this new moon is affecting you. All right, so I'm just going to share here. We're live and talking about the new moon in Cancer. Join us. It's so funny how different Facebook is on computer versus phone. And very recently, my Facebook just automatically updated the way it looks on my phone, and it really threw me off. So I've been getting used to the change. All right, so we're just going to take maybe 1 or 2 more minutes here to get started. And again, if you're catching this down the road on the replay, I invite you to just make yourself comfortable. If you want to have anything to write with, if you want to take any notes from this circle, feel free to go ahead and get that together. If you want to have some water with you. Same for everybody here that's live. Just make yourself comfortable. This new moon is all about comfort. It's all about kind of being at home, and I am here at my home as well. I'm in my office, and it's kind of funny. I'm literally sitting on the floor right now. I have my computer propped up here because we've been doing a lot of rearranging and with our furniture and stuff, and I don't have a chair in my office right now. So I have you propped up and I'm on the floor, but I really like sitting on the floor. And I've got my sweats on, so I'm nice and cozy, got my hair in the messy bun. So I just invite you all to be comfortable too. You know, we're all here just to show up with our authentic, comfortable selves, to have a good time, to talk about the new moon. And, anything else that's coming up that you want to discuss. So hi, Lisa, welcome. And hi, anybody else, if you're just getting signed in. So let's just wait maybe 1 more minute. I'm going to gather my materials here. I just got to rub some stuff into my hands. I'm a little dry in my hands. For those of you that know me, or you've tuned into my other circles, you know that I went through a really crazy allergic reaction a couple of months ago, and I'm just finally healing from that. But my hands have been really dry, especially the palms of my hands. So I'm just hydrating that really quick before we get started, or else it'll start to distract me throughout the transmission, which I don't want. So yeah, so I've got my things gathered here. And if you have any items that you want to gather for your own energy or your circle, go ahead and grab those now. I do have the window open here in the office just to have this nice fresh air coming in, and there is a storm. You might hear some thunder in the background, or you might hear some rain. I'm not sure if it's going to rain anymore in our transmission, but I thought that it would be appropriate to bring in that sound of water to our transmission tonight, because we are talking about the new moon in Cancer, which is a water sign. So I'm going to clear my throat real quick, and then we are going to go ahead and get started here. Thank you for dealing with that. I've had some allergies this past week. I don't know if anybody else is in the Midwest and dealing with allergies right now. I know several people have said they've been dealing with congestion, and myself included. And I just got a massage a couple of days ago with a lot of lymphatic drainage. And I think all of that's coming out now with this new moon because we're taking this reset. So Gotta clear my throat there. Okay, so I'm going to take a deep breath to get started. If you want to join me, feel free to find a nice supportive posture. Find that tall spine. When you're ready, sweep the arms, inhale overhead. Join at the top, exhale down to your heart. And welcome to our virtual new moon circle tonight, honoring the Cancer new moon here in July of 2021. And if this is your first time tuning in with me, welcome. My name is Vina Lene Rachel. I am a moon priestess, a channeler of the divine, and I lead these moon circles every new moon and full moon, and just to kind of give you some guidance on what is going on in the cosmos, what's going on with both the Western zodiac and the Vedic zodiac. I always do a tarot reading or some sort of oracle card reading as well to guide us through the lunar cycle, and I usually give you lots of other tidbits that I'm inspired with as well. So if this is your first time tuning in, I invite you to use this chat if you want to use it to share anything or ask any questions, and feel free to also let me know how you're doing. How are you feeling with this moon, and does it feel different from the last new moon? Is this your first time starting to tune into moons or learn about moons? Even if you're on the replay, feel free to leave it in the comments. Leave anything that you want to put. I do go back and check these and respond to these. So yeah, I think that we really start to notice energy on new moons and full moons, even if we don't know a lot about the moon. And maybe that's where I'll start tonight. And I'll just let you know that the new moon is a time of darkness. It's a time when gravity is stronger on the earth. And if you could see it in space, it would look like the sun is over here and my head is the earth, and the moon is here blocking the sun. So the sun is over here on the other side of the moon, and we can't see that. So there's not as much energy pulled up towards the moon like there is during a full moon, and we feel a little bit more grounded. We might also feel tired. We might feel unmotivated. We might feel sad. We might feel more in our lower frequency feelings. That's another thing that tends to happen when we start to really tune into being in our earthly bodies and having this earthly human experience. And part of that is human emotion. So you may be feeling your feelings with this new moon as well, or any new moon, and that is perfectly normal. Now, the sun and the moon are aligned right now, and because we're in the solar season of Cancer, that means that the new moon is also in the season or sign of Cancer right now. Now, the moon changes signs of the zodiac about every 2.5 days, so it won't stay here for too long, but it is going to be here throughout part of the weekend. So this is a really good time if you're, off work for the weekend, or you've got some downtime over the next couple of days, to really take time to ground in and relax and rest your human body. And if you're feeling any feelings, give yourself time and space to process those emotions. That's what a new moon is all about. It's about letting go of these things that might be stuck or trapped inside of us so that we can create space for new things that we want to create, new things that make us happy, new things that raise our vibration and help us evolve. New moons are a time of new beginnings because we're at the beginning of a new lunar cycle. So this is an opportunity for you, brothers and sisters, to dream, to imagine how you want this next lunar cycle to go, to decide what you want to create space for. And then we'll talk here in a moment about the zodiacal influence of Cancer energy and how that affects this new moon in particular. So before we officially get started or go further, I'd like to take a moment to set up our moon circle, bringing in the 5 elements. We're going to start with the element of earth, and this is something I always do with my moon circles. I always bring in some sort of crystal. Tonight we're bringing in rainbow moonstone, which is a great crystal for working with the new moon energy. And if I just spin this here, you'll see It's got a little bit of that rainbow shimmer to it. And I've used this egg quite a bit in transmissions. It is one of my favorites. And I love using egg-shaped crystals during a new moon or during a time of new beginnings because they do represent kind of that seed that's being planted. It's the shape of a seed or the shape of the egg, imagining what you're ready to grow and hatch into this world or grow up from the earth of this planet and this earthly human experience. So we're going to bring in the energy of rainbow moonstone tonight. And we're also going to bring the earth energy of Palo Santo in. And I was going to use sage, but honestly, I didn't have any on me. It's all at my studio and we were in the middle of a storm recently and I wasn't getting out in the hail. So we're using Palo Santo tonight. That's what was meant to be. And I think it's okay because this is a beautiful tree that really represents that earth grounding energy. And Palo Santo can also represent that root chakra energy. And we're going to be talking a little bit about ancestral wisdom tonight or generational healing, womb healing, generational trauma that may be passed down to you to heal right now. So we're going to be using this wood from this tree that's been dead actually for a while, for about 7 years or longer. So, the more I think about it, the more this was appropriately aligned. But when we bring in the combination of this earth element Palo Santo and the element of fire, we start to create the element of wind or smoke, as you see now. And I'm just going to send this out to you here as well, cleansing your energy, cleansing my energy, cleansing the tech that I'm using to communicate to you with, which also sends the smoke out into the ether. And I'm just going to take a moment to kind of cleanse my space. So smudging is a really great way to cleanse the air of any bacteria or any microbes that might cause you disease or illness. It might also be a great way to eliminate any negative energy or any distractions. So we're just kind of clearing the air, so to say. And if you are smudging at home, don't forget to have a window open. So I've got a window open right now so that this smoke can leave and carry out whatever energy it's attracting. So if there's anything negative that this smoke is pulling out, we want that to leave this space. So make sure that you have a window open or a door or some sort of way for the smoke to leave the room and kind of the space altogether. So we already talked about the fire element. Let's talk about the water element. For the water element, of course, you should probably just have some water with you. This is a really good time to stay hydrated. I've got my nice big blue bottle here of water. This is a liter of water here. But then I'm also using an essential oil tonight. I'm using the essential oil of myrrh. And myrrh is the oil of the mother. And it's an oil that can really ground you. It smells very earthy, very root-like. And it does remind me of kind of like the oil of Mother Earth, which is also another name for this oil spiritually. And I'm just going to take that in with a few smells. It smells so good. I don't know. It almost smells like leather to me. And although I'm vegan, there is that smell of leather that reminds me of just like things from my childhood or, I don't know. There's something comforting about that smell. So that's why I love myrrh so much. Now let's talk about myrrh a little bit. Number one, it's a very, very potent oil. It is a blood thinner. So if you are using it topically, number one, I always suggest you dilute your oils. But if you are using this topically, dilute it heavily. You only need like 1 drop. It is great for your skin. The Egyptians used it in their apothecary for skin salves and to help with kind of anti-aging of the skin and possibly any scarring of the skin, healing that. If you are going into any sort of surgery or having any sort of procedure where you're going to be cut open and bleed, you should not use myrrh for at least 2 weeks out and 2 weeks after. It is such a potent blood thinner. You just want to be careful with that. And of course, if you're already on blood thinners, you probably don't want to use myrrh as well. Now, if you're diffusing it, like 1 drop in your diffuser combined with some other oils, like maybe a lemon or a sandalwood or even a lavender or vanilla, perfectly fine. When you diffuse, things aren't going to affect you as potently, but when you put them directly on your skin, or if you're taking them internally, they're going to have a powerful effect. So you just want to be careful with myrrh, but smelling it, perfectly fine. It smells really good to me right now, and I know why, because it's a medicine I need. I need that energy of the mother and Mother Earth, and I'll talk about that in a moment, but feel free to use myrrh in your own practice as well. By the way, if your myrrh crystallizes, so it becomes the crystal very fast. This is an older bottle. I've had this for a bit, but it alchemizes with the air and crystallizes pretty quickly. If you start to deal with that, it might be hard to get your lid off your bottle. Before you put your lid back on again, put a little bit of coconut oil or carrier oil in the lid and then rub that kind of all over, and then wipe it with a tissue or a cloth. A microfiber cloth is great, and then put the lid back on, and it won't crystallize as quickly the next time. So this is our water element tonight. And then the 5th element is the ether. It's this place that we're connecting with right now through this wonderful space of technology where we can share all of this knowledge and wisdom and truth and whatever needs to channel through otherwise. It's a space that withstands time and withstands space as well. So right now, all of these elements that I've used to set up this circle tonight, even though they're here in my home office, the energy of these elements are now going out to you. So they're traveling through the ether to you, and you're receiving the energy as well. So one more time, just for review, take in the energy of this beautiful rainbow moonstone, symbolizing new beginnings, symbolizing the moon itself, symbolizing the creative womb space. Take in the energy of the Palo Santo and the smoke that we already transmitted, cleansing this space, grounding us in, helping us to connect to Mother Earth, to our Earth ancestors, to our bloodline, and to any other wisdom that needs to come through for the next generations to come. Connecting to our bloodline through the power of myrrh, the energy of the mother, the energy of Mother Earth, helping us again to ground in and stabilize and be comforted a bit as well. Like I said, it smells so good to me right now. It's just a comforting scent. And then, of course, transmitting here through the ether. So with that, our circle is officially sealed. I am going to take one more deep breath. I am going to call on the guides and guardians of the 5 directions. If you would like to join me in that as well, we'll just take in a little time for meditation and prayer here. I'm going to start with this breath. Inhale overhead if you choose. Exhale, hands to heart, or ground yourself in. As the thunder rolls. And as that thunder rolls, we call on the guides and the guardians of the East and the element of air, sound, the messages that we need to hear tonight. The element of air ushering in new beginnings, just as the storm rolls in where I am right now, washing everything away. This new moon invites us to begin again, to create something new and to trust in the magic of new beginnings. So we thank you, guides and guardians of the East, for being here in our new moon circle tonight. And we also call on the guides and the guardians of the South, and that element of lightning, fire, transformation, burning away what once was, so it can no longer be as it was. And as we burn away, we create space for the new. As the lightning flashes and the thunder rolls, we thank the guides and guardians of the South for being here tonight in our new moon circle. We also welcome in the guides and the guardians of the West in this element of water, rain, nourishing our drought, hydrating us, giving that sweet nectar of life to our spirit. Water is life. And we know that the new moon is connected to the element of water and our emotional tides. And as we're in this watery sign of Cancer, we thank the guides and guardians of the West for being here in our new moon circle tonight. And we also thank the guides and the guardians of the North, Earth energy, this earthly human experience, Mother Earth, Mama Gaia, our earthly ancestors, helping us to look back on what our family and our bloodline has been through, helping us to see new insight and wisdom, and making the changes that we need to make for the generations to come. We thank the guides and the guardians of the North for being here in our new moon circle tonight as we prepare for new beginnings. And we also thank the guides and the guardians of the ether, of the cosmos, of the spaces beyond this earthly realm. Angels, archangels, cosmic beings, light beings, goddess, energy itself. We thank all of this energy and the guides and the guardians of the ether for being here tonight in our new moon circle, bringing us the wisdom that we need to learn, helping us to hear the messages that we need to hear. And with that, our circle is officially protected and sealed. So blink your eyes open when you're ready. And welcome if you're just getting signed in. Feel free to say hi. Let us know where you're from. Let us know how this moon's affecting you. Let's talk a little bit about Cancer energy. We're also going to talk about Vedic astrology tonight. We'll do a tarot reading at the end of this transmission. And we'll talk briefly about Conscious Creatress because this is the last night for enrollment on my 16-week online manifestation program. So I'll talk just briefly about that and maybe just pitch it throughout the transmission. We'll see what happens. But let's start with this Cancer energy. And I'm curious to know if there's any Cancers on this transmission. Are you a Cancer sun, Cancer moon, Cancer rising? My husband and my son are both Cancer moons. And my missing element in my life is water. It's been a very interesting new moon and past few days, and it'll be a very interesting weekend. I'm finding, especially because I'm in this mother role now that I am a mother, I'm finding that I'm having to really mother both my husband and my son today. It's been interesting. Yeah, hi Risha, you are a Cancer. So Cancer energy is the sign of the mother. It's a sign of the nurturer. It's the sign of the crab. And the crab has a hard shell. You think about like mama bear, mama lion, but has a very soft interior. Crabs are very mushy on the inside, right? Very squishy. They have this exoskeleton to protect themselves. And I think that, Mother energy is that same way. It has that mushy, squishy, like, I just love my son so much, right? Whatever you love. Maybe you're a pet mama, but you love your pet. And if there's any dads on this transmission, it's parental energy as well. It's not exclusive to mothers. But there's just this feeling of being hard yet soft. And this plays into our emotions as well, because Cancer is a water sign, and it's a fixed water sign. And that means water is water, and it is what it is, and your feelings are your feelings no matter what they are, and it's okay to feel them. New moons are always a time when we feel a little heavy, a little more grounded, and like I said, we can be more low frequency right now just because we're in tune with our human experience. And this watery sign of Cancer might have things bubbling up to the surface right now. Maybe things from your past, maybe things in the present, maybe worries and anxieties about the future. But whatever it is that's coming up right now, acknowledge it, shine light on it. And by shining light on it, that means looking at it with grace, with gratitude, with love. So it's very dark outside. The new moon is not providing us light. The sun is not providing us light at night. We have to turn within and find our own light, our own guidance. So this is a time of navigating your shadows and navigating the depths of your, emotions, your tides, the way that they ebb and flow. And it's a really good time to simply journal how you are feeling. So if you want a good exercise to do with this new moon, or if you want to incorporate something into your new moon ceremony or ritual this weekend, let it be filling in the blank after saying or writing, I feel. Right now, I feel blank. Right now, I feel like I need to shift my body because my hips are getting a little sore. Right now, I feel good because I cleaned my house all day and got all of the dirt and the energy out of here. I feel excited to be on this transmission tonight and share everything that needs to come through. I feel a little anxious that there's so many sounds going on right now, and I'm a little worried that the power might go out and this transmission might not complete itself. Whatever it is, whatever the feeling is, give it light, recognize it without judgment, just acknowledge it and let it pass through. I was recently listening to a talk from one of my favorite spiritual brothers, Darren Austin Hall, and he was talking about how so many of us that kind of live more in this spiritual realm, the woo-woo realm, the metaphysical new age realms, a lot of times we spend a lot of time with our head in the clouds, our head in the cosmos, or up in space, or in this dream reality, when the truth is we have to have both. We have to ground. We have to have the earthly human experience. And just as much as everything is the sunshine and the rainbows and the light codes and the iridescent magic, it's also the darkness, the decay, the death, the rooting in of reality, and the lessons that we chose to learn when we decided to come into this earthly experience on this planet, right? So when we learn to kind of find ourselves floating in between, that's where we find the alignment, and that's where we find the balance. And so right now, if you've been spending a lot of time with your head in the clouds, if you've been running away from your feelings, if you've been running away from your emotional pain, if you've been ignoring your shadow work, it's time to do it. I'm the bearer of that news. And the quicker that you do it, the quicker you come out of it, and the quicker you find the light and you heal and you make space for other things. And it's a really potent time to do it right now because we're halfway through the year. So this is the first new moon of summer. And you can think about all the things that you plant right now, all the intentions you set. You're going to reap all of the results of that at the end of this year. So how do you want to see yourself at the beginning of 2022? How do you want to see yourself as you wrap up this year, 2021? These are the things you want to contemplate and think about right now, and decide what you need to let go of, what you need to process, so that you can really have space to create over the next 6 months. So I mentioned that this is the season of the mother. Cancer is the great mother or nurturer. This is also the sign of the womb or the child. So let's just start talking about the womb first. The womb is your sacral chakra, or your second energy center in your energy body. And it's a place where creation resides. It's also where your reproductive organs reside. It's where the physical womb space is on a woman. And it's a place where the baby grows, right? If you're bringing human life into this world. So it is a place of magic. And it is your water element in your body, and it's your pelvis. So it's shaped like a bowl, or what I like to describe as a cauldron, and it's holding these magic, creative, fertile womb waters inside. And even if you are not a woman, you do not have a physical womb, or you're a woman who's had a hysterectomy, you still have an energetic womb space. Even if you're a man or identify another way, you have an energetic womb space. So this is a place where all of us find our creativity, but it's a place where we also tap into worthiness, because we have to believe that we're worthy enough to create the life that we desire, or we have to believe that we're worthy enough to have a pleasurable life. This is also where pleasure resides, having to do with reproduction in a way, or those sexual organs. So right now, when we talk about Cancer new moon, we're also talking about sacral energy. And we're talking about the opportunity to create whatever we desire. We have a chance to begin again, or, a chance to start a new habit or make a shift towards our dreams. Because this is a new moon that is halfway through the year, we have an opportunity to plant intentions for not just this lunar cycle, but for the next 6 months. And maybe even beyond that as well. It's a really, really potent time to create and to believe that you can do that all really within yourself for the most part. So yes, in the physical world, if you're talking about fertility, you do need that masculine seed with that feminine egg, right? But in the energetic space, we have masculine and feminine energy within all of us. Confirmation from the universe. Amen. So we all have masculine and feminine energy running throughout us, running throughout our chakras. We have masculine and feminine energy as the Kundalini snakes running through our sacral chakra. And when we allow that energy of masculine, which is taking action, doing, having confidence, showing up with drive, having willpower, we combine it with the feminine energy of creativity, worthiness, pleasure, desire, we start to manifest whatever we choose in this life. This is the new earth. This is our new 5D reality. This is how we become co-creators and co-creatresses. I feel like I'm in a podcast now, like I'm going to go to a little commercial. But I just want to let you know that tonight is the last night for conscious creatress. What is going on outside? I'm a little worried it might hail again. Hopefully the power won't go out. Cosmic shifts. So tonight is the last night for Conscious Creatress. If you want to register for that, it's my online 16-week manifestation program. There is time to work with any new moon between now and November. If you're not ready to work with things now, registration will open up again in November. But if you want to read more about that, just go to my website, go to go to offerings or store, and you'll find it. You can click on it, read all about it. You can also go to vinalene.com/conscious creatress, and you can find more information there. So I'm going to grab a drink of water, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Vedic astrology. And if you have any questions about Cancer season or the crab, feel free to talk about that right now or put it in the chat. I will say that this is also the mother, womb, and child. And when you bring in the energy of the child, this is a really great time to embrace your childlike imagination. So this is a time to daydream and really fantasize how you want your life to be, who you want to become. You know, think about when you were a child and you thought about who you wanted to be when you grew up. You know, what did you want to be when you wanted to grow up? For a while, I wanted to be a veterinarian. At another point, I wanted to be an astronaut. It's funny how now I work with astrology, and I also do like spirit animal readings, and spirit animals come through almost all of my energy sessions and Reiki sessions with people. So in a way, I do work with animals and I do work with space. So yeah, but think about the things that you wanted to be when you were little. And then think about also just how creative you were, you know, when you just use your imagination. You know, my son is 2, and I look at him and he just plays and uses his imagination. You know, he today had a bunch of bowls out and spoons and mixing, and he was pretending to bake and cook, and maybe making bath bombs. Maybe he's pretending to make bath bombs because that's what he sees me do a lot of times as well. But he's just using his imagination. And so we need to come back to that, almost that innocence before the reality of our adult world or the real world kind of like took that essence away from us. And give yourself permission to dream as big as you want to dream. You know, if you could have anything you desire in this life, what would you have? What would your life look like? And give yourself the opportunity to really bring that in. If you want, make a vision board, or maybe draw or paint a picture of it right now with this new moon, or maybe you just take time to free write and journal what your dream is. Okay, so let's segue over into Vedic astrology. And I always put a little disclaimer here that I am no expert in Vedic astrology, but it is something I became very interested in when I traveled to India in 2017. And from there, I started to tune into the nakshatras of the moon during new moon and full moon, and kind of how that related to Western astrology. So in Vedic astrology, this moon is in the Purvar Nasu nakshatra. Now I know it's a bit of a mouthful. Purvar Nasu nakshatra. And I'm sorry if I'm butchering the Sanskrit, but basically Purnarvasu is the star of renewal. So nakshatras are constellations and lunar mansions. So they basically, they're these constellations of stars that house the moon at different points in time. And so this lunar mansion is the star of renewal, and it's also symbolic of a return of the light. So this is the first new moon of summer, and we just went through summer solstice with the full moon in Capricorn. And now that we're in this new moon, we're in a time of darkness during the time when solar energy is at an all-time high. And it's kind of up to us to trust that there will still continue to be this return of the light here in a few days once the moon starts to crescent. The Purvarnasu nakshatra is ruled by Aditi. Aditi is a mother goddess, and she's described as kind of the Parashakti. And Parashakti is the Shakti. It is the divine feminine essence of all creation, and Aditi is the mother goddess of all creation. She is said to be the light from which all other things were born, including all of the other gods, including Brahma, the god of creation. So she comes even before him. And, you know, we can really see this again as kind of this like Mama Gaia, or this, you know, ultimate creator, creatress energy, or this Christos Sophia, you know, light codes, if you will. And when we think about this from the perspective of kind of Western astrology, you know, thinking about the mother, the womb, and the child, of course, the mother also brings in the light. She's the mother goddess of human creation. She's bringing forth the human experience. On the Vedic side, we're just looking at it as kind of on a cosmic level, okay? So what this is guiding us to do on the Vedic side of things is to believe in the creation that exists within all of us, that kind of creative Shakti energy that resides in all of us, because we are a part of her. We are a part of the Mother Goddess. We come from her, and because she is infinite, expansive, creative energy, so are we. Okay? So we are God stuff. We are goddess stuff, and we have that energy inside. So again, we're talking about that Kundalini energy, that when we bring that together and we believe in that crossing together at the sacral chakra, we're bringing in that Shakti, Shiva energy. We're combining the two for that combustion of light to bring in new life of whatever you're trying to birth forth. This isn't just the human things. This is the earthly human experience. So whatever you desire, whatever you try to manifest. And this star of renewal also reminds us that this is a time of great healing, that we have the power within ourselves to heal, whether that be on an energetic or emotional level, or whether that be more on like an actual physical level with our human health as well. So I'm going to grab another drink. I'm going to take a deep breath. If you have any questions about that, feel free to put them out there. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to our, talk a little bit about the planets and kind of what's going on right now. Okay. So a couple of things. There's a retrograde season continuing right now. Now, Mercury is no longer in retrograde, and that's the one that we're most familiar with. And that went back into, it went direct officially not too long ago, but really kind of right with the full moon in Capricorn. However, just after the full moon in Capricorn, Neptune went Neptune went retrograde. It's funny, I'm using the ether and I can't communicate. And Neptune is in retrograde. So Neptune went into retrograde one day after the full moon in Capricorn, so a little less than 2 weeks ago. And Neptune is the planet of illusion. It's the planet of magic and mysticism, and it's the planet of the dream world. And Neptune is retrograde in Pisces, which is what sign it rules. So this is a very dreamy time for us. It's a time for us to move beyond this earthly realm, believe in magic, and believe that we are the co-creators and creatresses of our reality, and to really embrace that everything that comes through that we're inspired with in our imagination is something that we can actually make happen, even if it's not in our reality yet. Even if we don't know how to make it happen or how to get there, Neptune doesn't really care. Neptune's just like, go for it. Do it. It's gonna happen. Make your dreams come true, because anything is possible. Neptune is a place where we start to really believe that there are, kind of realms beyond here. So this is a place where we can talk to our ancestors in our dreams when we're in this Neptune retrograde energy. So this is a really potent time for you to do a lot of work with ancestral karma, generational trauma, anything that you're trying to break the cycle of as you move forward, anything that you're trying to break the cycle of for your future generations and in your bloodline. And you might need to go into the dream world and ask some of your ancestors or an ancestor to come to you to help you do that work. Or maybe you need to forgive an ancestor in the dream world that's already passed, or maybe you need to just sit down and kind of have a consultation with some of your ancestors and get a little wisdom and knowledge. This is a really beautiful time to do that. You can also do this kind of work in meditation, in lucid dreaming, in yoga nidra, and sometimes simply in daydreaming as well, just kind of opening yourself up to that. This is also a great time to call in your angels, your spirit guides, your spirit animals, anybody or anything that you call upon to be with you when you need a little bit of wisdom, guidance, light, healing, protection, answers, signs, whatever it may be. And speaking of signs, with Neptune in retrograde, there's a lot of signs that are going to be coming up between now and December before Neptune goes direct again. So pay attention over this next 6 months, not just in this lunar cycle, but over the next 6 months, any signs that come up, because signs are always there to help guide you along your path and guide you along a way to your higher evolution and a place to reach your dreams if that's what you desire. And also if those dreams are collectively going to benefit not only you, but also the greater good. During this new moon, it's a time of darkness, so this Neptune retrograde might bring in a lot of signs. If you're feeling a little lost, if you're feeling lonely, if you're deep down in your shadow work, if any sort of place, if you're in any sort of place that's making you feel a little like you need some help, please call out on your angels or your guides or whatever, but ask for a sign because they're just waiting there to be shown to you and revealed to you right now. Now, Jupiter went into retrograde before this last full moon in Capricorn, and Jupiter is the planet of expansion. The really cool thing about Jupiter retrograde is whenever it goes retrograde and gets closer and closer towards the Earth's orbit, it looks like it's getting brighter and brighter in the sky. So the planet of growth and expansion gets brighter and brighter right now, and we are in the season of light with summer. So this is a beautiful opportunity for you to embrace your growth, to embrace your ability to expand and evolve and increase your light. So during this new moon, as you're thinking about your future and you're thinking about the life that you want to create, in that life in the future, how can you have more light? How can you have more joy? How can you have more abundance? How can you have more light in the aspect of fire? Fire to show up to yourself, to honor your body temple, to keep yourself purified, and to have that drive to show up to yourself and to your dreams again and again and again. So, there's some exciting energy going on in the cosmos right now for change, especially big change, not only from your past lives or from your bloodline and generational stuff, but also into the future. So I want to talk just briefly about my own stuff, because sometimes I feel like that helps everything kind of come into the big picture and helps things be a little bit more relatable. This is always a very interesting season for me because I have an estranged relationship with my mother. I have a very deep mother wound, and my mom is a Cancer. And the more that I started to learn about astrology, and the more I understood that Cancer is the nurturer and the sign of the Divine Mother, the more I got angry during Cancer season because my mom was none of that. And I don't really know her birth chart, so I don't know anything beyond that. But I do know that she went through a lot of trauma in her childhood and in her younger years that made her the way she was as an adult. This is something that I didn't learn until I was almost 30 years old. So I have a different perspective around everything now. But regardless, I am still a product of abuse, of, major childhood trauma. And things that I'm still working on now as I'm almost 40, I'm still working on these things and trying to heal them. So Cancer season's always a little rough for me, and it always was before I even knew it was Cancer season, because I always think about it just being my mom's birthday. And then as I knew Cancer season was coming around, I kind of prepared myself a little bit more. But when I really became a mom a couple of years ago, I feel like that's when things kind of hit hard. I hadn't spoken to my mom in a really long time, probably 16, 17 years. But it's just that wound coming up when you become a mother, because my mother's not there in my life, and then I have this child, and I don't know how to mother because my mother didn't mother me, and there's all this fear and just a lot of things that were coming up. So the first year was really difficult for me. And then last year, things were a little bit different, and I was feeling a lot stronger in my mother wound journey and my ability to heal. Things weren't as deep and weren't as kind of salty, if you think about it from that oceanic symbolism. And I was able to kind of deal with things more. this year has been weird. Um, my mom's birthday was a couple of days ago, and every once in a while I do the like internet stalking to see if I can like find her. I never find her on social media. I don't really ever find much, even like if I'm just kind of like searching on the internet. And so this year on her birthday, I reached out to a couple of my friends that are down home in my hometown. And last I knew, my mom was in my hometown. And I just asked them if they had seen her, if they, knew anything about what she was up to. I don't want to have a relationship with my mother. I'm not ready to like try to like reconcile that at all. I've forgiven her in my own way, and I've healed a lot of that in my own way. But at the same time, of course, I'm curious of like what she's doing, right? Well, today, in this new moon in Cancer, with my mother being a Cancer and me already trying to like kind of processing all of my things around it, my emotions, one of my friends sent me a photo. She found her on Facebook, and it's an older photo. It's from a couple of years ago, but it's the first time I've seen her and what she's looked like in about 17 years. And she looked really rough, to be honest. My mom was not one that ever took care of her health, certainly didn't take care of her mental health. And I can tell that now it's really worn on her physically and has really aged her. And I just could not believe how old she looked and how worn down she looked. And although I have found an empathy for my mom that I didn't have before growing up, I think I found a deeper empathy for my mother today. And again, like I said, although I don't desire to have a relationship with her right now or fix that or pursue that or kind of see what's going on there, because I don't trust it. My intuition tells me to guard myself, and maybe my trauma tells me to guard myself and protect my child. I still just hope that she has found peace. And if you have estranged relationships with your parents, or if your parents have passed at this point and you had an estranged relationship, at a minimum, can you just hope that they find peace? Because I don't wish an ill life on anyone. No matter how wrong they've done me, no matter how hard they've hurt me, I don't wish a negative life on anyone. And that includes my mother. And today I really held some space for her and kind of prayed to the universe that she is at peace, that she has found her light, that she has healed her wounds and her traumas, and that she moves forward into this new earth and this new age. Well, I think that's the best way that I can put it. So it's been a very strange new moon in Cancer for me. I feel like I'm really healing some things. I've been trying to heal some things over the past 6 months because, as some of you know or may not know, I found out I was pregnant in early February. And I went through a pregnancy loss in April, 2 days after my son's second birthday. And I truly believed it was a daughter trying to come through. I have had channelings from shamans, and I've done Reiki since. I had Reiki done on me that have all confirmed that. But every single message that came through around that post-loss was not yet. I was not ready to become a mother to a daughter yet. That daughter could not come through yet because the time was not right. And I didn't fully understand that until I think today. And now I know, and it's so interesting because between the full moon in Capricorn, which I'm a Capricorn moon, and now this new moon in Cancer, which my husband is a Cancer moon, we have made a very collective decision about how we want to conceive and when we want to conceive our daughter in the future. And we've not left any mystery to it. We've not put any pressure around it. We've made a very firm decision around it, and it was something that was not firm before, and especially after the loss was certainly not firm. And so I just think it's very interesting now in the sign of the mother that not only am I healing a very strong aspect of my mother wound, but I've made a very certain decision about mothering a daughter in the future in 2022. So that's kind of my own journey, and that's kind of what's going on right now. And hopefully that gives you some sort of wisdom or insight or whatever, relatability. And I just encourage you right now that if you do have a great relationship with your mother, this new moon in Cancer is a great time to just kind of shower your mother with a little bit of love. I know that we're past Mother's Day, but this is a good time to just kind of honor your mother or honor your grandmother, your mother's mother, anybody in your maternal line. It's also a great time to heal mother wounds so that stuff isn't passed forward in the future. You know, even if you do not have a child, you still do not want to pass this energy forward into the future, because how you carry your wounds is how you carry your external energy, and energy is contagious and it impacts those around you. So you want to heal that stuff, sisters and brothers, no matter what, but especially if you have children, boy or girl, you want to heal that stuff so it doesn't pass on to them as well. This is also a great time just to kind of connect to water, connect to your emotions. Like I said, connect to the water energy, feel your feelings, let anything come up, and kind of lick the salt out of your wounds, right? So those wounds that are a little, they sting and they burn, and we kind of don't want to confront them right now. As they air out, they are going to burn, but we have to let them air out to heal. That's part of this kind of watery energy. You know, think about when you've been in a bath or been in water swimming for too long. You've got to get out because your skin gets all wrinkly and gross, right? So you have to air out to return to normal and return to equilibrium. You know, my own journey, like I said, I've been dealing with this allergic reaction on my skin. A couple of months ago, kind of broke out from my elbows down, just digging in the dirt outside. I have no idea what it was. It's like literally, it was like the mud. But I'm just now starting to heal, and a big process of that healing journey has been to just let my wounds air out, just kind of air out and seep and you know, get all of that stuff out of there so that, you know, new skin could form and new skin could heal, and there wouldn't be any inflammation or infection or anything like that. And so that's a very physical, you know, symbolism of how our emotional healing works too. You know, we have to let the wound bubble to the surface. We have to recognize it. We have to let it air out. In other words, we have to breathe through it. We have to shine light on it. And then over time, as we hold love and gratitude for it, it begins to heal. So give yourself space to heal right now, and, you know, kind of mother yourself as a mother would a child. You know, nurture yourself, give yourself lots of self-care during this new moon. Take a nice hot bath tonight. I'm going to soak in some Epsom salts after this just to kind of connect to that salt energy. Salt is a conductor of energy, by the way, so it will take negative energy away. So when you take a salt bath and you kind of release those negative emotions and you decompress, the salt takes it, and as you wash all that down the drain, all of that energy washes away too, and helps you to return to balance in your own magnetic frequency. You could also take a long hot shower. You know, maybe you just wash your hair. Maybe you go for a nice midnight swim. If you're near the ocean, maybe you take a dip in the ocean right now, or you just meditate by the ocean right now. If you're not near the ocean, if you go to my YouTube channel, there is a Yoga Nidra by the sea that you could tune into. It was also in my newsletter that I sent out this morning for the new moon musings. But yeah, just give yourself nurturing energy right now. Maybe you curl up in your favorite comfies. You know, I've got my sweats on. Maybe you curl up in your comfies on the couch with your favorite blanket. You watch your favorite movie. I had a croissant with some Nutella on it earlier today, and that's like just a little life pleasure. You know, have some chocolate today or whatever makes you feel good. But really tap into that self-care energy. That's really good to do right now as well. So any more questions about the new moon in Cancer or Purvar Nasu Nakshatra with my super southern accent, trying to say that Sanskrit language, or any other questions, because otherwise we're just going to go into the tarot reading. My salt bag just moved. Neptune in retrograde. If you are highly connected to the spirit world, this is a time when things might come through as well. Like, that bag's just been sitting there, and it's like, it just, like, something moved. That's crazy. I trust the energy in here. It's pure and clean, and I've got a bit of literally a portal where the salt bags are sitting right now. So there's probably something that's getting pulled out. I'm not really sure. And that's why I cleanse and charge my salts with the full moon as well. Okay. Sorry, guys, that threw me off. I'm going to grab a drink of water. Let's talk about the tarot for tonight. It is just raining and raining and raining and raining. I love it. I'm going to sleep well tonight. So every new moon and full moon, I do a tarot reading or some sort of oracle card pull, just to kind of give us a little bit of guidance. For tonight, I've done a 3-card pull. Before I talk about it more, I'm going to itch my nose. Again, a sign that spirit is here. I'm going to take a deep breath, and then I'm going to bring through the messages from these cards. So calling on the energy of the cards to bring forth whatever messages we need to hear tonight. Thank you for letting me be a channeler of these cards. Let me be a divine clear vessel for anything that needs to move through. So tonight, with this new moon in Cancer, I have pulled 3 cards. I've pulled a past, present, and future card. Our past card is pulled for reflection and wisdom. Our present card is pulled for guidance, especially for this lunar cycle in Cancer, or this new moon. So over the next 28 days and this present moment right now. And then, of course, the future card for the future, anytime from now forth, and also for the next 6 months, and maybe even beyond, because we are in this new moon that's halfway through the year. So for the first card, our past card, I pulled the beautiful Queen of Coins. I'm tongue-tied tonight, guys. Sorry. So, by the way, I wanted to mention I'm pulling from the Tarot of the Divine. So if you want to know what oracle deck I'm using, it's the Tarot of the Divine, because we're in such feminine energy right now with this new moon in Cancer, and Purnar Vasu Nakshatra having this Aditi influence. So the Queen of Coins might also be known as the Queen of Pentacles, but notice this snake wrapping around her. So we've just been through our eclipse season, and sometimes the eclipse season is described as a snake switching directions or eating the sun. Notice how she holds the coin in her hand. She's holding the light. So during eclipse seasons, we have to trust that the light will return again, and we believe in our own light while we wait. And this is kind of what's been going on here. This is also symbolic of, somebody who is very wise, has a lot of grace, and really has a lot of experience with exchange of gifts. So she is showered with gifts, but she also shares her gifts with others. She shares her light. She shares her wisdom. And because of that, she's respected, and she also has gifts returned to her. And, in this past, 18 months or so with COVID and everything else that's gone on, I wonder if that'll trigger something on this video because I just said the word. But I wonder if it has, it's definitely caused us to trade more wisdom with one another and barter more. So, some people are baking bread, and some people are building fences, and some people are making bath bombs like me, and some people are making cheesecakes and, whatever it is. But there's been a lot of bartering and trade and sharing of wisdom and knowledge. And I think it's a really interesting card that we've pulled for the past, because the Queen of Coins kind of represents all of that. And she also represents health, and represents the mother energy itself. So she's a mother of nurturement, so she nurtures, but she's also a mother that teaches the children the lessons that they need to know in order to be on their own. So she's kind of like the mama bird pushing the birds out of the nest so they learn to fly. And I think that Mother Earth has definitely done us that lesson over the past 18 months. We have been pushed to learn how to fly. We've been pushed to learn how to evolve and change and rise higher for the frequency of the greater good. And during that time, we've been held with a little bit of grace, and we've had to find our own light, our own wisdom, and our own faith that the light will return again in order to have this resiliency to continue to be sovereign over our life and rule our life, and kind of trust in holding that positivity for the future. So let's talk about the present card, the Knight of Coins, which might also be known as the Knight of Pentacles. So we're still in this energy of abundance, and he's riding the ox here. So this is a bit of a stubborn energy. The stubborn ox might not want to move, and you might be feeling a little unmotivated right now. During this new moon, you might be in your lower frequencies, and when we're in our feelings, sometimes that makes us feel a little bit stubborn about wanting to return to the light, or wanting to honor ourselves, or wanting to work on our dreams. So the Knight of Coins reminds us that if we're in this moment where we don't want to do anything, then at a minimum, we need to find gratitude for where we are. Coins are a sign of abundance. He's holding this coin, right? Look at all of this light. So, this coin around the bull's horns reminds us to root in to this earthly experience. This could be also Taurus, which is the sign of Earth or Mother Earth. And to see the gold in the present, the gold in this life, the gold in this experience that we're having right now, and maybe even the wisdom and the gold of our feelings and the things that are coming up. So right now, during this present time, during this new moon, and during this lunar cycle, maybe just over the next few days during this new moon portal, this is a time to root in, to appreciate what you have, to find gratitude for everything that you're surrounded with. And if you're feeling stuck, if you're not feeling like moving forward, just allow yourself to take it all in where you are. Relax, rest, nurture yourself, just as the mother energy of Cancer would want you to do. Oh, and then finally for the future, we've got the Queen of Swords. There she is. She's got that machete. The Queen of Swords could be interpreted a couple of different ways. As we move into the future, we've got to set strong boundaries. Very clear boundaries, okay? And we've got to make quick decisions to sever the things that weigh us down or pull us back or hold us into lower frequency. And I think this is a really interesting card that we're pulling as well, because I think it really is this Aditi energy, this return of the light. I kind of see this as Kali, the Queen of Swords, reminds me of Kali Ma. And Kali Ma is the great goddess that was called upon to destroy kind of these demons when none of the gods or anybody else could do it. They had to call on the ultimate goddess to, find that energy to get rid of this whatever wasn't serving. And so Kali Ma was birthed out of that, and then she went on this rampage, and she killed the demons and she killed everything else. She was so angry about these demons taking over the world and was kind of a little bit angry that she had to handle it all and nobody else could do it. So she's just in a whirlwind and she's going nuts. And then all of a sudden, she gets in front of her consort, Shiva, or her lover, and Shiva just lies down in front of her. And just as she steps on his throat and she's about to cut his head off like she's cut everybody else's head off, which really this is symbolic of cutting off the head of the ego, humbling ourselves and getting rid of that evil negative chatter that tells us we're not worthy of creation, we're not worthy of being God stuff, we're not worthy of having the life we desire, right? So when she steps onto Shiva and she gets ready to cut off his head, she has a realization of, oh my gosh, I have clarity. This is my husband or my lover, and I don't want to hurt him because if I destroy him, he is the masculine energy. He is Shiva. I am Shakti. If I destroy him, then I will be no more. I cannot go on. I cannot pass on my bloodline. I have to have that energy as well to co-create. So she pauses and she stops and she finds peace again and she calms down. And they live happily ever after, But, this Queen of Swords kind of reminds us to also be wise with our destruction. She's a queen. She's not out of control. She's ruling her life with the sword. So as you make these changes in your life, or you set boundaries, or you cut cords, or you cut ties, or you shift relationships, do it with grace. Do it with the softness of the feminine. A lot of times we can even cut cords with people without actually physically saying like, hey, I'm not going to have a relationship with you. A lot of times if we just allow ourselves to have space between that person, a lot of times they will not even notice because the relationship wasn't serving anyway, and the universe will just make that a very easy transition for you. But if you do have to somehow gracefully cut ties right now or set boundaries, just do it with love. Do it out of your heart. Do it with that mother goddess light energy. Do it with light. Don't do it with the darkness. As we move on through this lunar cycle, there will be a return of the light. So we're reminded to embrace that light within us in all of our actions moving forward. And also to be reminded that the more that we do cut these ties and the more that we make these decisions with ease, the more that light will grow with ease, and the more we really will start to gain sovereignty over our life, and we'll no longer have to really make those tough decisions in the future because we'll just have this kingdom that we're ruling over with peace and grace and ease. So I hope this reading makes sense to you. I'll just do a brief little recap here. For our past card, we have the Queen of Coins, reminding us that even the past was a gift, that Mother Earth was teaching us a lesson, and that we were learning whatever we needed to learn in order to be pushed out of the nest. And sometimes that's tough mother love in order to learn how to fly. So by going through all we've gone through in the past, especially these past 18 months, we now know how to rise and vibe higher. For the present, the Knight of Coins rides in on his stubborn ox to remind us to take time to honor and find gratitude for the present. This ox might be a symbol of earth energy as well, and we're being reminded that the earth has so much beauty and so much abundance just waiting for us to seize. In the meantime, we have to trust in the path ahead of us. We have to trust when the ox wants to move forward. And then whenever we're ready to ride into the future, we'll continue to trust in the path of this spirit guide that leads us along our way. For the future, the Queen of Swords reminds us to make decisions swiftly, gracefully, and with a little bit of softness and love. We're going to need this sword to cut ties, cut cords, set boundaries, and really let people know where we stand. But if we continue to embrace the energy of the Queen of Swords, we'll move forward into our future, ruling our kingdom of light with joy, peace, and ease. So I just want to thank you all for being here tonight. We have been together for about 45 minutes. I'm just going to leave this space open if you have any questions about our readings tonight, about anything that came through. If you have any questions or anything you want to talk about with this new moon or the new moon in Cancer, feel free to put it in the chat now. Otherwise, tonight, make sure that you're resting. Take time to dream. You can do a yoga nidra practice. I mentioned that yoga nidra by the sea on my Vina Lene YouTube channel. But you could just take time to dream or do lucid dreaming. Maybe you work with ancestors in your dreams tonight. Call upon your ancestors before you fall asleep. Just ask that your ancestors come through to help work with you or bring through any wisdom and guidance. You could also call upon any of your guides or guardians or spirit guides or spirit animals and really ask the other realms in the spirit world and the universe to give you signs right now and to continue to give you signs to let you know that you're on your path as you move forward throughout the rest of this year. So that is it for me, tribe. I'm going to grab a quick drink of water. I'm going to talk briefly about Conscious Creatress. If you have any questions about the program, feel free to stay on here. I'm not going to take longer than maybe 5-10 minutes tops, but I just want to be here to answer anything or give you a little bit of insight about what the program really is, in case you want to sign up tonight before this registration portal closes. But let me grab this drink real quick. And actually, before we officially talk about Conscious Creatress, I'm going to go ahead and unseal our circle. I'm going to release the guides and the guardians, and then we'll just talk about the program briefly. Thank you so much, Lisa. Hey, Lisa, if you want to stay on for a few minutes, I know that you've been through the program, or if you want to put a little blip here about your experience with the program, feel free to put that as well. So I'm going to just bring in this prayer or this meditation to the universe, releasing the guides and the guardians now with a deep breath. A nice cleansing breath. Starting with that release of the guides and guardians of the ether and the cosmos, angels, archangels, deities, cosmic beings, light itself, prana, life force energy. We just thank you for the wisdom that you've brought through the tarot reading tonight and the wisdom that you bring through from the cosmos, from the planets, from the zodiac, from the stars. We thank you for everything that you've brought into our new moon circle tonight, and we continue to thank you as you guide us along our way. And we also release and thank the guides and guardians of the north, the earth energy of our ancestors, those who have lived on this planet before us, this root chakra energy. We thank you for the wisdom you bring through our bloodline, for the courage to break any generational karma that no longer serves. We also release and thank the guides and guardians of the West, the energy of water rushing in now to cleanse us of what no longer serves. This water energy that works with our emotions to move things out of the flow of our energy, things that may be stuck, so that we can open up the creative, magical waters of our energetic womb space to create the life that we desire. And we thank the guides and the guardians of the South, and as we release these guides and guardians of fire, we thank you for your light codes, for your heat of purification, and for your drive to continue to show up and transform. And finally, release and thank the guides and guardians of the East and the element of air. Bringing in new beginnings with this new moon in Cancer, this new lunar cycle, this new season of summer, this new golden age of light. In the East, we see the rising of the sun, the new dawn, the new day. And in a few days, we'll see the return of the light into this moon. And we trust that there is always a return of the light. And we trust that this light will always grow. Just as Aditi's expansive, creative, infinite light always grows. And we thank you, guides and guardians of the East, for the chance to begin again. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Thank you for being here tonight. Let's talk about Conscious Creatress for just a few minutes. Conscious Creatress is my signature manifestation program. It's an online program. It's a go at your own pace program, but there's work to do every day over a lunar cycle for 4 lunar cycles. So you spend 16 weeks with me. And you have 2 options. You could do a premium enrollment where you really are spending time with me one-on-one with 2 personal private sessions every month. Or you can choose just the regular option, and that still gets you in the program and gets you membership into our Sisterhood of Conscious Creation. This is our online group on my website for anyone who has worked through the program, anyone currently working through the program right now as well. And this is also a space where you can reach out to me if you need guidance along the way. So what is it? It is a compilation of all of the tools that I have used over my own journey of manifestation and deep, deep shadow work and healing. I've been on this journey for about 10 years now, really healing my emotional wounds, healing generational trauma, healing things from my childhood, and figuring out my habits of self-sabotage, figuring out how to break through those, figuring out what my glass ceiling is and how that starts to tap into my limiting money mindset or limiting manifestation mindset. And it's also the tools that I've learned around working with the phases of the moon and working with our 4 energy centers of manifestation. So I mentioned a lot about the sacral chakra tonight, and we definitely work with that. This is a program only for women, by the way. And this is nothing against men. And if you are a man or you identify otherwise, or if you just don't want to go as deep as Conscious Creatress has to offer, or maybe you don't want to spend the money, and that's cool too. There is a monthly payment option, by the way, for both premium enrollment and regular enrollment with Conscious Creatress. But it's cool. If you want to do something different, Moon Magic is underneath my offerings and store on my website. It is always available. You can work with any lunar cycle, and it kind of gives you a beginner level, surface level experience on how to manifest with the phases of the moon. So it'll give you kind of a head start. And if that works out for you and you want to join Conscious Creatress in the future, enrollment will open up again in November. So now you know when it will open up again if you're not ready to do it now. And if you're not ready to do it with this new moon in Cancer, but you want to do it maybe with the next new moon, the new moon in Leo, which is a very confident moon, fiery moon, a moon that's all about ego and self, might be a great moon to dive in then. Or you might want to wait until one of the other moons, and that's cool. But if you want to work on yourself between now and November, between now and the end of the year, grab the program now. It's going to be at the lowest price offered possible. Every time I open up registration again, my price goes up. So you got to take advantage of it now because I add in bonuses and bonuses every time I reopen the content. So grab it now if you can. Risha, thank you. Namaste. And I'm sending you so much love, sister, on your journey. I know that we have talked a little bit about your journey right now with this Cancer new moon. And this is a really exciting time for you. So I'm sending you so many new moon blessings. And I will read Lisa's comment if I can here in just a minute. It's kind of cut off for a moment here. So getting back to conscious creations, we work through the 4 energy centers of manifestation. This is your heart, your solar plexus or your belly, your sacral chakra or energetic womb space, and your earth chakra or your root of your body. We also work with the actual physical womb space. Because this is a program for sisters, we're going to talk about how your energy of your womb and your feelings and your emotions relate to the energy of the moon, because your womb, your sacral chakra, is your energetic moon, and it's ruled by the phases and the energy and the influences of the moon as well. And men and others are also influenced by the moon, but women are more strongly influenced by the moon, I believe, than others. So we learn how to tap into that and work with that energy instead of fighting against it or letting it cause us blockages in our journey to achieving our dreams. We also talk about the menstrual cycle. We talk about the female reproductive system. We get really in touch with the cervix. I'm just going to put it all out there because these are things that help us to understand where we are in our energy and where we are on how we want to show up and take action on our dreams. If you are no longer bleeding, if you no longer have an energetic womb, it's okay. The memory of those things are still in your body and you can still work with them. And then we have alternative ways for you to work with things as well in your body or in your energy if you identify it with one of those experiences. Lisa says, if you are stuck in your life, want to discover more about yourself, want to make goals for yourself and learn more about the moon, please take this course. Thank you, Lisa. Yes. It's a way to get unstuck and stop sabotaging yourself and make your dreams come true for real. And what better time to do it than now with this Cancer new moon? This was very strategic. This is the sign that is ruled by the moon. This is why I wanted to start with this one. This is the sign of the mother, the womb, and the child. It's time to embrace your childlike imagination, believe in your dreams, believe anything is possible. It's time to stir the creative magic waters of your womb, your sacred sacral cauldron, and start to create whatever you want to birth forth into this world. And it's time to mother yourself and mother your dreams and mother your desires and mother your needs so that you can continue to attract this energy of support from all around you and you can continue to evolve and shift for your greater good. It's pretty much in a nutshell what it is. So this program lasts 16 weeks. We journey through the 4 energy centers each week of the lunar phases. So week 1 of the lunar cycle, you would do the root chakra. Week 2, you do the sacral. Week 3, you do your solar plexus. Week 4, you do your heart. And then you start all over again and you do that 4 times in a row. You're going to work on your mother wounds. You're going to work on your father wounds. You're going to work on your sibling wounds. You're going to work on any other witch wounds that you may have or any other energetic wounds that are blocking your ability to manifest. You're going to do deep shadow work, sisters. I'm not going to paint this like this is all sunshine and rainbows. This is deep, deep, deep work that you're going to do on yourself. And the great thing about this program is you have lifetime access. So you can go through the program as many times as you feel called to do. This will be my 5th round of going through the program myself because I always go through it as I guide other sisters through it. And I always discover new things about myself. I always heal new wounds or I have other things come to the surface, new layers that I need to look at in my own journey. So I invite you, to do the program again and again, even after you complete it the first time, take it again and kind of see what comes up the second time. But it's deep work and it's going to be stuff that really, is in your shadows or in your closet right now that you've got to dig out and clean out and declutter. But the great thing about it is the more that you shine light on all of this stuff and the more that you self-heal, the more you really gain empowerment and, the belief that you can do more. If you can heal yourself, you can do anything. If you can heal yourself, you can create whatever you desire. And so Conscious Creatress is the program that I have designed to help you do just that. It's a daily approach. You have daily work every day. You sign into the program. You can sign in on your computer. You can sign in through an app on your smartphone. And either way, you're just going to have like your day one, and it's going to tell you what's going on with day one. You might have a short little video to watch, anywhere from like 5 to 20 minutes max usually, or you might have something to read. You usually have some sort of exercise or activity, some sort of homework to do throughout the day. You might have some sort of journaling exercise to do each day as well. But you have these opportunities to basically check in with yourself on a daily basis, check in with your dreams, check in with your emotion, your mood, your energy, where are you at, and you figure out exactly how to approach things every single day so that you're living your life to your greatest potential. And the great thing about this program is when I first created this, I created this in February of 2020, not knowing that anything was going to happen with a global pandemic. The women that started out, the sisters that signed up with my first round of the program, had no idea that we were going to go through a global shutdown. And it's crazy because they were able to show up to themselves every single day, myself included, doing this work on personal development, really tapping into themselves, their willpower, their fire, their strength, their creative abilities, my own as well. And out of that, 2020 didn't impact any of us as strongly as it did others not doing work on themselves during that time. And I definitely say now, on the other side of things, like 18 months down the road, I am in a much stronger headspace as far as where I want to go with my business. I'm really like kind of together as far as, having these systems and things to keep me organized and keep me stable and keep me focused. And to be honest, over the past 18 months, I've made more money in my business during shutdowns and during the pandemic than I was making before. So I do believe that these techniques work. I've been using these tools for a little over 10 years now, and it's helped me to create a lot of things in my own life. So as far as the things I've manifested myself using the tools and techniques in Conscious Creatress, I manifested an internship to go live in Hawaii for a while. I manifested a 1-month journey and spiritual pilgrimage through India. I definitely manifested my super, super completely healthy, happy, smart little boy that's running around in my life now. I manifested my yoga studio. I manifested the yoga retreats that I've hosted. I've manifested just things in my own health. I've manifested the ability to really self-heal some bleeding disorder stuff, and some genetic expression of those that bleeding disorder. I have manifested many little vacations and getaways for myself. I have manifested a local shaman now in my life that I needed for a really long time. I've manifested a great barter system in my life where I get the other tools of healing that I use in my life, things like chiropractic, massage, reflexology, Reiki. I get those things for free through a barter or energy exchange. I manifested that into my life so I wouldn't have to spend physical money because I don't like dealing with physical money. I've also manifested money in my life. I've manifested the ability to work with a nonprofit organization and make more money than I've ever made before, getting paid a higher rate than I ever have before. I've manifested getting paid to teach and travel. The list goes on and on. I'm not doing this to brag. I'm doing this to let you know that it's real. Like, it is real, and you can create and have whatever you desire. You can manifest what you desire when you do the work to get there. I think I've gone over my time of 10 minutes, but that's where I'm going to stop. And I will let you know that if you want to learn more, you can go to my website. You can click on offering/store. You will find Conscious Creatress there. You can click on it. You can read about all the different payment options. You can read about monthly payment options, the full payment option that saves you a little bit, gives you a discount. You can look into premium enrollment. You can look into just reading all about it, reading about the Q&As, reading my story if you want to learn more. You can also go to vinalene.com/Conscious Creatress. The registration deadline does close tonight because we start with this new moon today. So that is my spiel. Thank you for listening to it. Thank you for tuning in tonight and sharing this energy of the new moon in Cancer with me. I am sending you so many blessings with this new moon. May you use this lunar cycle to create the life you desire. May you use this weekend and portal of darkness to find your own light and let it shine a path for you to follow to your highest and greatest good, which will then lead to the highest and greatest good of the collective. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is, sisters and brothers. Until next time, I will see you again on July 23rd, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. We'll be honoring the full moon in Aquarius, and we'll talk all about that air energy coming up. So until then, I hope you have a beautiful evening, and I will see you soon. Namaste.